Well, hello everybody. I'm here with none other than Sebastien Borget. Hi, Seb.
Hi, good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a while.
It's like my second home now, this place, so I love to be
Absolutely.
interviewed. So,
Yep, absolutely. So, Seb, obviously, for everyone that knows you, everyone that watches us know you, of course. But why don't you just give us a brief introduction about the sandbox in Japan specifically?
well, I'm sure everyone now is familiar with what the Sandbox is. One of the greatest strengths of Sandbox has been as well our global presence. Like we really this world of culture, and that means like we have been able to onboard like more local brands and partners. And Japan has been one of the first market that we onboarded into the metaverse and Web3, thanks to like the local team and the fact that we also had from the beginning some Japanese investors supporting Sandbox in 2019 with Square Enix. And so our presence here is very strongly connected to brands partnerships and key locations. So we are like Shibuya 109, which is like this flagship building right at the across the big crossing of Shibuya. If you've been in Tokyo, we have had partnership like Captain Tsubasa or Feast of the North Star, Attack on Titan, and recently, and then that's why I'm here as well this week. Big partnership with Casio G-Shock. So as you can see, a lot of like very culturally relevant anime, manga, movie type of partnership, as well as some location. We had also like Japan Rail as well that launched experience on Sandbox. We've had collaboration through local partners and agencies with things that connect toward more tourism as well. We're discussing and so on. So really a big footprint here, a great community because Japanese users, of course, being so much exposed to like the manga culture, the gaming culture, they are great collectors of digital assets. We also have like the different a strong community of artists and creators with what started as just being great voxel artists coming together with this team called Voxel Rangers, which has become one of the leading production studio for Sandbox here in Japan and like one of the most talented voxel artists in the world. So very, very impressed by what they've been doing. And Sand as well is, as you're familiar, the utility token of the platform. But something that maybe not everybody knows is like Sand is one of the top and one of the 20 cryptocurrencies that are officially authorized by the GFSA, the Japanese Financial Service Authority. And so Sand is on CoinCheck, which is one of the leading crypto exchange here, and also a few other local Japanese exchange. So that's also this reason, like what Japan has been and still is today, like a very important market for us, and that it's always been a long effort to establish our presence because Japanese value a lot trust and consistency over the partners. So we've been here for I think already 4 or 5 years, and we've showcased what we built, progressively what we've launched, and that has allowed us to have like a great reputation. I'm sure like a lot of people in the space recognize Sandbox. You can see, I don't know if you can see if I turn my back. That's the community that did my, as you can read Sebastian in, I think it's kanji characters, and design my Samurai Seb voxel character, for example. So also a lot of creativity right here.
Absolutely. Seb, also a lot of events are being planned, right, within the sandbox ecosystem as well and outside. Would you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and I think it's really. I'm super excited about that because it's one of the things that's been brought by the DAO. Like we recently celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the Sandbox DAO, and some of the project that's been supported, it roughly supported I think over 35 projects now, has been like some events that will be happening at Korea Blockchain Week, at Token 2049 in Singapore around the end of September and mid-September for KBW, and yes, yeah, I think the team of India has been also proposing a SIP, Sandbox proposal for an event around November, if I'm correct, for India Blockchain Week. So essentially, the DAO, like which is like essentially proposals from the community to support and grow the sandbox ecosystem, and sand owners and landowners are voting upon them, is now like supporting those meetups and events around the world. And they're also supporting different initiatives like education related, women empowerment. And recently I stumbled upon this SIP and community in Nigeria, in Africa, which have been very...
Victor.
Yes, and well,
Victor is the guy.
I don't think I've met him in person yet, so I look forward to, but when I saw on social media, like everything they've done to promote, to explain what is Metaverse, what is Web3, to educate new creators and give the chance to those 100 of women who attended the event. Like big kudos, thank you. Like I'm very impressed. Look forward to go there one day and meet with the community in person. But that's also show the power of like decentralization. Now things, events, meetups, communities are building from the ground up without necessarily having a Sandbox official staff or team member on the ground. And that's where I think like how we accelerate to the next phase of scaling.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, since you mentioned about Sandbox Africa, if Africa had a blockchain week, and they have not maybe like Paris Blockchain Week, but they do have other blockchain weeks, right? Would you be willing to go there?
So they do have, if you look at just the geographical continent, Dubai, UAE, they have like, of course, a lot of events. North Africa with Morocco, Tunisia, I think as well as a great tech scene, and I've been having a lot of initiative around blockchain. So yeah, I guess like it's hopefully we will have like larger event that bring more of like the international community to come. I'm usually very open whenever I get an opportunity to speak. So if there is an event that invite me to speak and it doesn't conflict in my agenda, I'm happy to join and share our vision and meet with local creators and people.
Absolutely. One of the greatest sort of new development within the Sandbox ecosystem was the win-win auctions for training grounds that we did. A lot of community loved it. A lot of people bid and they won a lot of bids. Got
some sound back.
Yes. What was your vision with that? What sort of motivated you to pursue that?
So it's a partnership that's been taking us a bit of time in the making. There's this company called GBM, which is like the partner that provide the mechanism of this type of auctions. They wanted to partner with us. They run a few tests with other projects, including I think Avegochi, and once like the technology was fully mature and we could check like okay, it can scale with 100 or 1,000 of bids, like we could deploy it. We did a first test in the previous land sale before training round, I remember, but training round was really like the big showtime where we had so many auctions, right? And I love that the idea that it's a great user experience in a sense of like even if you don't win the final auction, right, participation is actually being rewarded. So it's very aligned with the ethos of Web3 when we want to reward people for their attention, for their time, for their participation. And so giving a little bit of something back to anyone who contributed by making a bid, even if they didn't win at the end, I think it's a brilliant model, very aligned with how Web3 should work.
Absolutely. Seb, so on 28, which is in 2 days, Sandbox is hosting a press conference where you're going to talk about the new partnership with G-Shock. Can you tell us a little bit about that, whatever you were able to?
I hope you will be there on the Prime, right? So like you're invited at the press event, you will be on the day. Yes, amazing. Yes, so again, like all the partnership at Sandbox are always taking time in the making because we care about the quality. We really have like creative team behind, narrative designer, level artists, voxel artists at work, and producers who are working to create content that's like align with the storytelling, the value, the design of the brand when we bring them into voxel design. So I think I first started the conversation with Casio G-Shock with a local partner here in Japan a year ago. We iterated, we had a few meetings, we iterated around the design, what we wanted to launch in terms of experience, how we represent the brand and the concept of the brand, which is like jewelry, but with durability behind, rough, can sustain any kind of lifestyle, sport, um, and also like can be great and cool and have many collaboration with celebrities and artists. So become also a bit of like a status and jewelry. And we brought that into life into not just tiny equipment on the avatar that looks like a watch, where like unfortunately due to the graphic design aesthetic of Sandbox you would not really notice the watch. But we turn it into like a great collection of avatars. First of all, that's those mecha robots, very Japanese in spirit, which look like each one the different model of the watch historically. We iterated those design as well, in the sense like no matter how like the avatar will be turned around, you will see the design. You recognize this iconic watch design, which you can see here as well. Like from far, you can already recognize it's a G-Shock watch. And we're launching that avatar collection on Sandbox. We're also launching an experience on Sandbox that will open very soon, which is like going to put your skills to test. Basically, like with your avatar, you have to run through different platforming and different challenge in a multiplayer fashion and earn rewards. And there will be also a special activation here in Tokyo. I think 2 locations, one including at Shibuya, where like participation will be rewarded. You'll have a chance to win access to like a special place with like a great view over the Shibuya crossing, and I think we're trying to have like physical reward as well. That would be the grail.
Right, absolutely. Seb, when a lot of people look at Sandbox, and especially the creators, when we're trying to explain what Sandbox is to someone who doesn't know Sandbox, one of the ways that Sandbox is described, and we sometimes do this, when people are looking at Sandbox, you should look at it as a land. Yes, it is an experience. You are creating a game, you're creating an experience, but especially within media, you are telling a story by that game. And do you think that is the correct way to look at experiences, that the way to build an experience is to tell a story from that experience?
So I do think yes, like people like and are attached to stories. Stories bring emotion, bring memory. That's how you develop a lore and characters, and that's what makes usually people engage and stick, coming back to like the world they explore. The world needs story. We create the story by living in those worlds, leaving our mark, having memories that set some precedents, and that's what we talk about all the time, right? However, maybe considering your question, like how I would describe Sandbox today, I think Sandbox has evolved into something much bigger than the virtual world and the gaming side. Yeah. People might not even play or create on Sandbox, and still they love the brand. They recognize it. They want to be present at our events. They find it cool. They usually like our parties and talk about it. They like the Sand token. Sand token is used in many other places outside of Sandbox. So I'm really thinking around like how we are supporting the brand, the Sandbox, and we build a bigger ecosystem than the one we currently have with essentially this triptych of land, avatar, and games made with our no-code game maker. And so if you've been a fan of Sandbox, if you've been in the community for a while or just curious, like watch out for some of the news in the second half of this year. I think it will be really interesting to see like how everything is expanding beyond like what you originally thought it was.
Yes, absolutely. Seb, when someone's looking at Sandbox, right, and of course when we are within the community, we love Sandbox. We have too much. We're too excited, so we don't see certain things looking from outside that someone could see, right? So when you're looking at Sandbox, a lot of people have said that it is the community that makes Sandbox, because we're a global distributed community, right? You also are coming up with an update of fiat currencies, fiat payments within Sandbox. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so 2 questions here. One is like, I think at the end of the day, it's all about the people and the connection we make, and it's like we're binding people here, like being very creator driven around like one simple proposal, like let's create games, let's create content together, and like let's have fun as we do it. I think people like to contribute and come, and they've been contributing in many different ways and at different steps. Maybe some people they really were active and engaged around 2020, 21. Maybe those people are doing different things now, in crypto, not even in crypto. And now like there's other creators that come that discover Sandbox many years later, and we'll have a totally different impression of what Sandbox is today. When I'm thinking about the new game maker 012, the game client 012, it's night and day with what we were doing 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and not even like 5 years ago. So having, for example, fiat payments is one of those tiny little improvements that we added as we release constantly new product updates, including the new game maker, including now like the GBM auction, we reward participation, payment in fiat, and so on, that help to onboard users to show like how polished the product is, and hopefully people start to notice that we pay attention to like the user experience, the onboarding, the perception that people have of like the overall product, how easy it is to use it, how fast it is to use it. Work as a creator and you do 20 times per minute the same action repeatedly to move asset from your library to the screen. Believe me, like every second you save because we added shortcuts, we reworked the library and window is a massive benefit at the end of the day. And toward that, like we've been talking about it, we've been exploring a lot around AI. I think AI, everyone is looking for like what Sandbox will introduce with AI that help landowners to get their land populated if they don't want to use the software and so on. And yeah, again, like we'll be launching interesting things that people will want to try for sure this second half of the year.
Absolutely. One of the criticism, or maybe not criticism is probably not the correct word, but one of the feedback sort of that users give that's stopping users from becoming UGC creators is that they're not able to follow the self-taught videos of using game makers or Voxedit, right? And Philippines team has done some amazing work. They've had some workshops. They've taught actual students in class. Do you think there is a gap in the market where there should be more classes where people can actually be taught? Because a lot of users who want to create assets say that I don't know how to. I tried doing it myself. I can't learn. So perhaps maybe online classes or something where it can be a taught sort of session. Do you think that is worth it?
I do think like education is essential. Like it's very often underestimated. Like people, because we are very geek. Maybe if you grow like me, you are usually the person that everyone in your family is going to ask for as soon as there's an IT problem, and you will figure out and solve for everybody the problem. So we have self-taught, we discover, and that's how we progress. But not everybody is like that, and that's great. And so having education partners, having trusted education center as well, like we opened, there's been one that's opened recently in Hong Kong. Having content creator online that's streaming.
Panda Pops does amazing work. Alex as well.
Torres,
Lucas,
and so on. They're doing a great job. They are much needed. And at the end of the day, we always wish there will be more people having different ways of creating content. So, because you never know, like from which door basically you will enter into the sandbox. But at least there should be one that's closer to you at the end of the day. And I encourage again, and that's really the mission of the DAO, to have those proposals that are focused around like how do we bring Sandbox closer to our community. Again, in Africa, I think those women might not even learn or touch Sandbox if there wasn't someone who cared enough to step up to make a proposal and to onboard.
100%.
That's
Yeah, absolutely. So as we are sort of trying to understand Sandbox, is there any Japan-specific insights that you can share with us vis-a-vis Sandbox, of course? Anything you're seeing in the Japanese market that you're able to share with everyone?
So Japan, So it's very interesting. If you look at Japan, it started very early in crypto with Bitcoin, like Mt. Gox and Nakamoto, all this concept and have some great stories connected to Japan, probably. And it's been one of the market where like a lot of people were trading and become trader in Bitcoin. Then it became heavily taxed on the Bitcoin trading, which started to kind of pause a lot of markets. Particularly as Bitcoin price went down, but the profit was still taxed. So that was a terrible moment for a lot of investors there. It also entered Web3 and NFTs through the angle of manga and culture. So we had a lot of great projects. Azuki is an example of very inspired Japanese NFT collection. That does not obviously is the only one. And it's become known for having very engaged community members who hold for a long time for NFT, whereas the rest of the world had more of like a buy and sell quickly. Like Japanese users are like pure, they're being called like diamond hands collectors. And Japan has also shown a great appetite for experimentation, and it was for many years a country where like innovation was starting in Japan, like high-speed internet with optical fiber, 5G, first phones that had 3G, I think, and phones with internet back then. Innovation where you're touching on the card to enter the metro station. It all came from Japan essentially. And now again we're seeing Japan interested to incorporate Web3 across like the different services, the day-to-day life, entertainment. We had like those major telco, which are like NTT Docomo, KDDI, and some banks as well, SBI, and so on, which entered Web3 here that propose a wallet connected with a 60 million more or less user base of like mobile phone subscriber and so on. Very interesting approach. A bit slow deployment sometimes when you think about it, but overall, like they have demonstrated that energy and desire to step in. Today or yesterday at the conference, but what we can say is that WebX, we heard the Prime Minister speak on stage. He shared again like there's a desire from the political class to push Japan again into this age of like the digital economy, to have the possibility to launch financial product connected to crypto and digital asset like ETF connected to Bitcoin. Why not like stablecoin for Japan?
That is actually my next point, because 4 days ago the Japanese government approved the Japanese yen stablecoin.
See? And so there is now this move around like institutional more and like markets also launching digital asset treasury listed on Japan stock exchange, companies buying digital asset and putting on their books. So there is a move for like adopting crypto from that angle as well, which is interesting and might push a new wave of adoption.
Do you think that in future people would own sand in a sand treasury, similar to how we see MetaPlanet holding Bitcoin treasury, right?
Yes,
do you see that? Do you perceive?
Tone as well.
Yeah,
I think it does make sense to really look into having a sand based like digital asset treasury. The main reason is Sand is one of the top 100 cryptocurrencies in the world according to CoinMarketCap. It's still and on the gaming side or culture side, it's probably one of the top 3 at the moment. We still have a lot of things we haven't announced to be launched, which I think will really support more demand, more adoption for Sand token and more utility. Again, like the idea that Sand is not only limited to be used in the virtual world, but hopefully with many other applications, games, apps, and services. So yeah, I look forward to it, and I think it could be something that will bring again back attention from more of like the stock market investors, institutional investors, and so on. And it's backed by real product, real community, real value behind, which is very important, and that's also why like what investors are looking at.
Absolutely. Seb, let me ask you this question regarding Sandbox. As we are progressing more and more, and we talked a little bit about Japan's sort of push towards digitization, tokenization. Is there any experience within your time within Japan where you have seen pushing tradition to tokenization, because that's the topic of our after movie, right? Japan's journey from tradition to tokenization. So is there something you can share in that regards?
I think we're starting to see that with some really real world assets tokenization from like sake, whiskey, um, uh, buildings, and like all sorts of like more financial related product becoming security token. Japan also used to be one of the top eight or top five economies in the world
Yeah.
in the day, and I
Yeah.
remember that it was a very active financial marketplace, trading market. I do think
Yeah.
it's still part of that culture actually.
Yeah.
Here we can see at the conference so many banks,
Yeah.
so many exchanges that
Yeah.
are from Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know countries, so many countries in the world that have such their own, I would say, local native ecosystem of exchanges and local market of traders that's sufficient enough to support an economy and become and still be one of the top 10 economy in the world. So yes, I do think it's like strongly, profoundly rooted here in the culture, and it's very natural to see it growing again.
Sure. Thank you. Well said. That brings us to the end of this part of the interview. However, I have a thought-provoking questions and some rapid-fire questions for you,
All right, let's
if
go.
I can. Um, would you ever consider opening a supermarket where you can only pay by sand?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Yes.
Yeah. Um, favorite Japanese food?
Ramen.
Okay. Uh, favorite upcoming NFT crypto project that you have seen that may or may not be famous?
Um, oh, good question. There's so many. Gaming culture. I love like to see again like Cool Cat is coming back thanks to Animoca. Mocha has developed into very interesting, expanding the cute character and collection into like a great solid project around identity with the Mocha network. Um, yeah,
It's okay. We can
that's
we
it.
can move. Yeah. Um, before Sandbox was Sandbox in early 2010s, you gave a presentation in Paris detailing the mistakes that a lot of game developers make, and you did a whole long presentation on that. Um, as we stand today, if there is a UGC creator, maybe they're taking part in Sandbox Game Jam or whatever, how should they market their game so that more and more users can play their games? Are there any mistakes that they should avoid?
Well, that you find a video in the archive. Like I would love to see it. Me 2012. Very humbly sharing as postmortem. I guess like there is a repetition in history and in the space of like digital space game making. There is still the fact that well, you still have to build your distribution. You still have to do your marketing if you want to grow. Like
Yeah.
maybe my uh, it's a little bit um, something I regret is like when the creator rely a bit too much on the platform only to
Yeah.
bring their traffic, their community, their audience,
Yeah.
and they have maybe they are not yet ready for it or they are not aware of that. But it's true that making games require marketing, user acquisition, live ops, so maintaining the game with regular events and content to keep engaging people. But if you're a first-time creator who just discovered you can make a game, it's true that you only learn by experience, or
Yeah.
if someone else tells you like, oh, but now like it's not enough to just launch a game. You have to keep updating it. You have to find players outside of the platform,
Yeah.
and it's probably an area where we should do better as a platform, and we're
Yeah.
working on it. So we'll be launching new things to empower the creators even more to like build more loyalty, build community, reward users, monetize more beyond just NFT sales and the marketplace. I think it's great for starters, but it's also proving its own limits as well. And I think we want to expand again, like what Sandbox has been, to enable creators to do more things at the end of the day and be able to sustain from their creativity.
100%.
That's very important.
Yep, absolutely. Are we still having 2 more alpha seasons this year?
I really hope so. Like the next one was supposed to be at the end of August. We decided to postpone it a little bit because it's still summer in many countries. So I look forward toward more like the mid-September when everyone is back in action. And, the season is coming back, going to take a lot of players' time and enjoyment.
Yeah.
And then next one, it's being finalized as well as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still too.
Absolutely. One of the things in the startup industry, Seb, is as us founders, as us creators, we make a product, but the way the users use that product may not be the same that we want them to use, right? In Alpha Season 5, Sandbox launched something called time trials, where it was more like a race. And the community together, including George Wong from Southeast Asia, organized a whole race where there was a whole tournament kind of thing, where there was Indonesia team, Malaysia team, there was all the Thai team, all of them came together, and it was more of a competition. Do you think this sort of user-generated product development happening more and more within Sandbox?
Well, I think it's deeply rooted into like the spirit of our community, very creative, user-generated content. So you will always be surprised what the community will do with your tools. It's something that since 2011 and the first version of Sandbox on mobile, I love, and why every morning when I wake up, I love to check what creator made. It's inspiration of like, oh, they're doing so great. We never thought they could do that. Or is it possible? Like, oh, someone find a way to do that. Someone found a way to do a first-person shooter when it was not possible. Someone found a way to do teleportation when we found it was not possible. And that's great because that gives us inspiration for like what we should do next, and because that's what they want. We also incorporated this form where anyone could submit ideas, and we prioritize development based on like the wish and the desires of the community. That's what we've done. I think the community can see that the updates feature some of their wish list items. So it's great. I think it's really important to stay close as possible to your users. Like whoever is not answering their community of users on social media or email, not good and good critic and bad critic. It's still good critic for me. Who's not using the product to check how it is, whether you're a founder or a person develop the product manager or in charge of that, you're probably already you're going in the wrong direction. So stay close to your product and your users at any time and all costs.
Absolutely. Do you ever watch the Discord, the Sandbox Discord, just reading the chats without interacting?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes I just scroll. I don't necessarily interact. I interact with other channels. I prioritize emails, so everybody dropping me an email gets an answer.
Yeah.
Social media, I answer quite a lot as well, as you can see.
Yeah. There is this media company called Pocket Gamer Biz. Last year, they curated a list of the most influential people in the crypto industry. Your name was on that list. And one of the things that they said that is the envy of the world is your air miles, because you take so many flights. So what is your air miles? How many flights do you take?
I think I counted somewhere like 30 to 40 a year.
Okay.
On average.
Okay.
That's good. It's good to be closer to all the different communities. Again, like if I have an opportunity to speak and share about our vision and I can inspire someone, or give me a chance to meet someone who's interacting with Sandbox, like I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely. One country similar to Sandbox Africa, one country that you're not in, but you would love maybe a UGC creator to start something up, and then you can help them make that country come into Sandbox. One such country.
So we do have communities in countries I've never been yet. So that's been interesting. Here is in Nigeria now. Like I've seen there was the Bhutan for example, launch the Kingdom of Bhutan. Kingdom of Bhutan acquired a land in Sandbox, launched an experience. I never had the chance to go there and see like what they built, but this I did in the metaverse. So I travel virtually in the metaverse. Like I have countless miles there.
Yeah.
Let me think. Philippines, I've been only to the capital, but I know that a lot of creators are like not necessarily in the capital only. So there's still many places that I think if I can bring any value by being present and meeting the creator, I would love to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess you're a busy person. I'm not going to keep you any longer. We've already gone quite a lot. But Seb, we would love to have and we would love to host the Sandbox show that Metaverse Street Journal holds with you one of the times when if you're in India or any of the countries. We'd love to have you with us.
Of course, I'm coming to India Blockchain Week.
Yeah.
It's on the Journal of Travel, so it's mark the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Do you publish already like all the cities and places like you will be traveling as
well? Yeah, okay, sometimes, yes. So that's Sebastien, and I guess everyone knows him. So go follow him. His updates are the best. He's inspiring.
And follow the Metaverse Street Journal now. Like you get all the latest news, coverage, not just from Sandbox, but really and more importantly from the communities, from the creators themselves, what's happening in the space that even us as like top company were not necessarily aware. So I think it's really important that you do that journalism and report and share the news for the creators themselves. Absolutely.
Do you, just final question, do you ever watch the Twitch live streams?
Sometimes when I've seen like what Panapop have been doing, some competition, time limited challenges and so on. It's really interesting.
That's what I wanted to highlight, because there is this Twitch game that everyone's going on and on about, which is called Marbles, and then there is another one where it's called Gartic. So Gartic and Marbles are amazing games. Have you ever played those?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's the thing that I'm lacking the time to play.
Maybe Panda needs to invite you on the live stream one of the times if you have time. Absolutely. Of course. Well, that was it. Thank you, Sebastien. Thank you for giving us time.
Thank you again. Yes.
Thank you. And we'll be live streaming by the time this video is out. We would have already live streamed the G-Shock PR event, that press conference that is happening. And see you in the metaverse.
Absolutely. See you all in the metaverse.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Seb. Thank you very much. Can we have a picture? Of course. I love
Metaverse. Of course, I love it.
I think you misunderstood my question.
Right. Treasury.
Yes. So I'll ask the question again.
Tragedy, like what? Okay.
Okay. I'll ask the question again and then you can answer.